Welcome to the 6 of 4 podcast, the podcast that takes you beyond the players. My name is Olivia Caleri. I'm one of your hosts. And then to my left or right, whichever way you're looking at it, here's what's your name, man?
Matthew Smith. I thought you were going to introduce me.
No.
That's funny. Okay, yeah. Now we know to introduce ourselves. Perfect. Who do we have with us today, Olivia?
You didn't even say your name. Say your name first.
I said Matthew Smith.
No, you didn't. Cut out. So that's Matthew
Okay,
Smith.
sorry. Matthew Smith.
Anyways, all right, so we have Remi Chartier here with us today. Remi is a golf student at East Tennessee State University. I'm assuming in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I've known Remi for quite some time now, since we're like maybe, I don't know, like 9 or 10 years old. Very
long time. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Remi left Montreal when he was like 16, 17, I'm assuming, to go pursue golf at a further level in a less colder weather, Florida. And today I'm actually really happy to have you on here. It's been so long since I've actually gotten to speak to you like this. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is wonderful. I'm very pleased to be here.
I'm glad.
Obviously, and Remi, you obviously, like Olivia said, you left Montreal to go pursue a higher level of golf. But I want to know from the start, how'd you find the passion for golf? How'd you get into the sport?
I got into the sport, I would say, mainly through my father. Okay. My dad picked up the game naturally as a younger kid, kind of himself. No lessons, no high school team, but just slowly but surely, his parents didn't introduce him to the game. It was just kind of one of those things that he enjoyed playing when he was kind of in college and after college. And when he had kids, I played hockey mainly growing up. I played soccer and baseball. Those are the first 3 sports I've played. And as I got to maybe age 8 or 9, I would say, I kind of tiptoed into golf with my father and fell in love with it more than the other 3 sports. That was, I would say, that was the start of the passion. Was kind of in that 9 to 10 age category. You started playing little tournaments maybe around 12 to 13, and I quickly let go of the other sports. And I gave up hockey last at age 16 for golf. I liked golf the most, and I saw myself succeeding in golf the most out of the other sports. So yeah.
Oh my gosh! So that's like a
nice. You might have answered your next question, Olivia.
I was gonna ask that, but I also have, it's like doing like the reverse hockey player thing. Because hockey players play golf in the off season. Your off season is hockey, so that's like a completely different thing. But I find that amazing because not a lot of people, you could be a multi-sport athlete that's actually like sought after when you're in college and stuff. But if you're really focused and passionate about that one sport, like people look at you and they're like, wow, I want this kid to play. And I wanted to also know, because you, like I'd mentioned before, you were in Montreal. I knew that you were at CDM, Collège de Montréal. They have an amazing golf program. From what you've told me, Thomas Stafford, I knew Neve growing up. So like I heard from him. And I also knew people that went to Collège de Montréal. They were like boasting about it. It's a fantastic program. How did you find the program compared to just going to Florida, like just playing all year round? I want to know how that transition was,
I think that I was unbelievably lucky to be a part of that program that you're mentioning at Collège de Montréal for 4 years. I left before the last year of high school there, but it was huge for me and for any of the athletes really in those programs. You got to learn a lot about difficult time management, difficult trainings. If you didn't like your sport, you quickly let it go. I would say you're doing a lot of it. You're doing it every day, and if you love your sport, then you're the happiest kid ever. So that was, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. I wouldn't have done it over and gone to Florida earlier for anything. I would say that it was an unbelievably good experience that I wasn't, fully aware of at the time, going into, I guess, 7th grade. High school starts in 7th grade. I would say that my passion for golf grew through those 4 years. And I was just overly lucky to have supportive parents, and being a dual citizen with my dad to kind of, they wanted to be snowbirds, my parents, at some point, and they just started early, and my dad found a good job, and that was a good step in the right direction for the potential of my development for my golf game. Playing year round is important. It's not impossible. You see players from, whether it's Northern European countries or Canada or just northern part of the US, like you see people manage the weather well throughout the year and still perform as athletes, on an outdoor sport. But I'd say for me and for other people who've made that switch too, it's good to get college exposure, and it's good to have the opportunity to kind of play and develop your game a little bit more constantly.
Yeah. My dad did something similar to that too, but with baseball. So he was here, and then he went to Albany, and then he knew that the best thing for him was to go to Florida, because like you said, with those outdoor sports like that, you have to play all year round. Like even the indoor training is not the same. So it's just so much better to kind of get used to that climate too, and practicing. It's like if you're doing, skating on that fake ice. You know what I mean? Let's say you live in Hawaii. It's not the same thing if you're just doing that outside in the open, So yeah, that's actually really cool, because you're the second person I've heard say that.
Well, you've obviously been playing golf for a lot of years now. Is there a particular favorite course that you played on, maybe here in Montreal? But do you have a favorite course outside of Montreal? And what is your favorite course in Montreal?
Great question. I've played a lot. I don't, the Masters is going on this week. I've been there. I've been at Augusta National.
Oh, nice. Sorry, Remi.
So that was a
playing
cool
among
experience.
the Masters.
I didn't play in the Masters. I played in the kid event that was going on there. It's called the Drive, Chip, and Putt. It happens the Sunday before the Masters.
That's
yes,
that's white fun. People heaven. I know this guy from Montreal who's a part of it, and it's this. He goes around. He's like, "Yeah, my grandfather was part of Augusta," and it's such a big personality trait for him. So you're on a big game, man.
Would you say that's the highlight that you played on of a course? Is Augusta?
I haven't played the golf course. I played a golf competition there, which is kind of different than that. I figured I'd mention it because it's Masters week. It's this week. But of course, my favorite golf club to be a part of in Montreal would probably be in the Ile Bizarre. There's a course called the Royal Montreal Golf Club. Thomas Stafford, who Olivia mentioned, Thomas and I kind of grew up playing there. I've been a member there, and I still am a out of town kind of member now. So when we play tournaments around Montreal, you kind of quickly start branching out to other places in the province and maybe other places in the country. I haven't played a million golf courses in Montreal, except for a few of them, one of them being Royal Montreal. And I'd say some highlight courses I've played some courses that have hosted major championships of some sort. And the golf, wherever you go, it can be nice. Some people like warm Florida weather. Some people like mountain, hilly golf courses. So I've been fortunate enough to see a good part of all of them.
Nice. Do you remember by chance the toughest shot you've ever made?
Oh man, some of the hardest shots. So there's different grass depending on kind of which areas you are in the world. Grass grows best in Florida. Grass grows best on it's called Bermuda grass, and up north and more northern places it's called bent grass. And the way that the grass grows actually makes kind of a big difference in how you golf. It's strange to say, but it's true.
I can see that. I can believe that.
Yeah, when I first got to Florida, some of the hardest shots that I had to play was learning how to play with the way that the grass grows is called grain. The direction that it grows is called grain. So like literally the direction that like hair grows is called grain as well. But in northern courses, like in Montreal, the grass doesn't have direction where it grows. It's called grainless. Bent grass doesn't have any grain. But the further down south you go, the more that the way that the grass grows is apparent. And when grass grows against you in golf and your golf club is traveling against the grain, it's very demanding and very difficult. And you kind of have to learn that quickly. So I would say that it's not necessarily hard now, but some of the hardest shots was just learning basic chip shots with grain facing you, the grass growing against you in Florida. That's what comes to mind.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, so let's say you're playing 18 holes. By the way, I am sick. I have to disclose. I had to disclose to the viewers that I am sick. That's why I sound a little stuffed. Sorry, I had to go for a tissue there. Playing 18, obviously, we know how long that can be. Is there a favorite snack after the front nine that you like to enjoy before you hit off another 9 holes?
Yeah, ideally something that doesn't necessarily spike my sugar too much. If I'm drinking electrolytes and maybe having some consistent, let's say granola bars or whatever on the course, I wouldn't mind like a hot dog actually at the turn or something like that. It's not crazy filling and it's not going to spike you up either. So something like that would be nice if there's a little halfway snack shack or something.
Yeah, for sure. You have to be hungry because like the one time I went to play golf, 18 holes, I did the front 9. I'm like, I'm starving. Like, can we hit the restaurant or something like that? No, we got 9 more. I'm like, all right.
It's golf can take up to half a day sometimes, it seems. So yeah, you gotta be prepared.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound you mentioned like electrolytes. So I'm assuming you're more of like a Gatorade kind of guy. But that's the thing. It's like, it depends what setting you're in. So I'm saying if you're doing work, sorry, I just had like a sticky tack that I was fiddling with. If you're doing like actual like training and like playing for real, you're going to do like a Gatorade, right? But then if you're not, are you like more of a beer guy or like, do you have like a little coffee, a nice coffee on the side or like?
That's an interesting question. I don't drink Gatorade on the golf course. I've got like this electrolyte powder I put in my drinks, which is similar to Gatorade, but it's got a little bit of caffeine, which kind of keeps you just a little bit more. Well, actually, the caffeine doesn't really crash. So yeah, it's good. Anyways, I would say that like working out, I wouldn't mind some sort of Gatorade. I obviously drink a ton of water, but I don't drink much beer. If I'm like I was just practicing before I called you guys. I was just drinking water. I'm not crazy with my drinks. I'll drink orange juice with my creatine because it just tastes better than with water. But I'll drink the occasional beer and that's
keeping it straight. I like that.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's good. It's better for you. You're not like one of those guys that goes out and you're
not like me. Well, get the beer guy by the time he's 28.
Yeah, but it's like there's some athletes that are just like, like, oh, I'm gonna party and like my body's not gonna catch up to it. So
like you're just John Daly, for example. That guy. It's got to be a huge alcohol guy, right? And he's a pretty good darn golfer, still is. But
some people there's exceptions out there. There are.
Yeah. Right. We mentioned Masters, we mentioned John Daly. Who are some of your favorite golfers that you modeled your game around or maybe look up to?
I would say golf is a strange one to kind of model your game around because the way that the golf swing works is like everyone's really unique. It's really like a handwriting, to be honest with you. Like everyone's is unique. I would say that when it comes to maybe the way that perspectives are and like mentalities, I love the way that Tiger Woods thinks as an athlete, an unbelievable athletic competitor. Great to see him playing in the Masters, by the way, again. But modeling your golf swing or your golf game is kind of a weird one. You really have to just master yours. because it's you can't really emulate it. It's too unique, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
that's interesting because like baseball, obviously, it's not similar. I'm not going to say baseball and golf have the same swinging mechanisms.
Yeah, but you'll see a lot of arm. You need to have
no, I'm not talking about arm. I'm not talking about arm. I'm talking about like swinging the bat. You know, a lot of guys will watch tape of like big hit, like really famous hitters, really good hitters, and they'll try and model like, you know, their hips or where their leg plants into the ground. But to like find out golfers don't do that. It's like I always thought the opposite. I always thought like golfers try and mimic a really good golfer's swing or try and get to the, you know, best capability that they can. But
yeah, I would say that maybe your every body is different. Like the way that someone swings for their body, that might be their best kind of swing for their body. For my body, that might not be. But that doesn't mean that some positions that this particular person that let's say that some person on the professional circuit, the way that they swing the golf club, that doesn't mean that some of the things that they do isn't like applicable to me or isn't inspiring or helpful for me. So if that kind of
makes
that
sense.
kind of makes any sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to know, because I remember when you were younger, you would like, you know, you'd come to school and like we knew that you golfed, you know, it was you and who else? Oh my God, who was the other kid?
Christopher Van Dette.
Yes, exactly. It was you and Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Do you know Chris?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I just figured to shout him out.
Yeah, shout out Chris. I have not spoken to him in like since elementary.
Anyway, though, moving on from Chris.
Oh, well, let me finish. Him and Chris were like the only two people that were like super like would show that they really, really like their sport in school. This is elementary school. And you don't see that a lot. But I want to know, like, Collège de Montréal, you had that training, time management and everything. And then in high school, you had the same thing. So I want to know now, like in university, when that's part of your degree program, right? Is like you signed, you committed to them. Now you're golfing there. What's a typical training day in university look like?
That's a good question. The NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, only allows a certain amount of hours that a coach can plan throughout the week when they're in season and off season. So
after that South Park episode, I'm pretty did you guys watch that episode?
I did not.
Oh God, I'll send it to you later. Anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Coaches are allowed up to 20 hours of work in season. So through the 7 days, he would obviously want to maximize that as much as possible. So golf takes a while. It's like a 4-hour block when you play in his timesheet of allowed, you know, games. So what he'll typically do, or what he's really only allowed to do, is have us play 4 times a week ish. And if it's 5 times, then you might not have a practice. And if it's 4 times, then he'll have some sort of team practice at the golf facility that we have here. So he'll try to stretch out the 20 hours to whatever's best. If we need an off week, he won't necessarily maybe stress about the 20 hours and just plan a couple of rounds and a couple of team practices, you know, when it suits. But that's the interesting part about golf, is that it takes a while. So the playing 4 times and practicing once, it's really not that much. So a lot of us practice and play on our own time, and that's totally fine. You can work out as much as you want and practice and play really for any sport as much as you want on your own time, but there's a certain amount that they're allowed. So I would say a typical day would be exercise in the morning and finish breakfast by after exercise by about 8:45, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
If I don't have class that day, I can practice, have like a light practice before lunch, and typically at sometime around 1:30 to 2 we'll play. And by then, if there's still daylight, I won't do much after that. That's a full day for me. And if there's class sometime in the middle of the day or whatnot, I might plan a short practice around that. But usually there's practice on your own time, work out on your own time for me. And then whenever there's a golf day, you know, I'll play with the guys, obviously. And if there's not, then I'll just kind of practice more. So
yeah.
So you have
by the time you're done doing that, I'm waking up.
Yeah.
So very different days.
There you go.
You have this commitment that not a lot of people have, and prime example, Matthew. So our little lazy shtib. So so you have this patience and you have like time management. Obviously, that's just like a skill you've acquired over the years. You might just, I know you've been like that. You're like a committed person in general. But I just want to know like what you think your greatest strengths and weaknesses are. Because right now I could tell you what I see, but I want to know like how are you self-critical when it comes to your sport?
I would say that the most important thing I need to improve is planning my time. So I have an agenda that I use to plan my days out, like a time box planner. The more I commit to what I'm writing down for my day, the better, not like the better I feel about it, but really the more effective I am too. I'd say that's the biggest area I got to work on. Not because I'm that poor at it, but just that's a huge part of my life is it's easy to wake up tomorrow and know, that you have class at this time and know about when you're going to eat breakfast or when the tea time is to go out and play with the guys. But for me, the more that I can visually structure that kind of maybe the day before or early that morning, the more I'm committed to really what's in front of me. And that's for me personally, that's really all that matters. So that's an area that I work on, that I would say I might be even the best at and want to work on the most is planning my work and working my plan is what I call it. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Get that tatted. Planning my work.
And I would say that I'm very blessed to be like, I have a massive passion for golf. None of it feels like work. So like that's a big thing that I probably take for granted at times is I love it all. So I never overwork myself, I have to be careful to sometimes just, not be out there for 2 days in a row. But
then you hate it. Yeah. You work yourself too hard, right? It's like, and honestly, like it's so like the time that I've known you, I've said this like 3 times in this whole interview. I've not known you to do anything that does not surround, it doesn't mean you don't have a life. It just means I have not known you to do anything where I don't associate golf with your life, where I'm not like Remi the this, like Remi the that, oh, golf is his side thing. It's like Remi's so committed. And I had this conversation too, like a few years ago, we know someone in common that used to golf with at Royal Montreal, not going to mention any names, but he was even talking to me too, and like his dad would tell, you remember who. Exactly.
I have no clue.
That
it's an inside joke.
No, it's fine. So his dad, I remember his dad telling me as well, like that you were this person that's just super committed to the game, and it's like when you're at the course, you golf. You're not like socializing and like, oh, how's the wife and kids? You're very much just like, let me do my stuff. And I think that's amazing that you're so committed to it and that it's like part of your life and you haven't lost interest and you see yourself going somewhere with it. So I honestly like fantastic.
Thank you.
I love that line.
Olivia.
I love that line you use.
Appreciate that.
That line you use where you said, I don't even see it as work. That's big. That's when you're doing something you love, is when you don't even see it as, something that's, going against your time or whatever with stress. It's something that you love and you don't even notice that you're actually working, doing the thing that that you have to do.
You're exactly right.
But this, me and Olivia know this, but maybe others watching don't know this. You're actually one of 10 people in the world, Remi, to defend their New Year's Invitational Championship and its 96-year tournament history. 96. Obviously,
I love you guys.
Obviously, in the tourney, it wasn't as easy to do. You were down to Irvin Chang, who broke away early in the pack. Your second round, you shot a 73. You're 8 back of the lead. And then on Saturday, the day of the tournament weekend, you shot a 65, which puts you in the lead and ultimately won you that tourney for the second straight time. What was your mentality going into that weekend, knowing you need to hit some big shots to get back into it?
Wow, that's awesome, by the way. That you guys looked into that.
I told you.
We did we know.
It's great.
Yeah.
I would say, well, it's whatever sport you play, it's always nice to not relive, but go back to somewhere where you had success. I think it's hard for it not to bring positive vibes.
Yeah. 100%.
And throughout the winter, I was continuously building and developing my game, just like I am now, consistently trying to get better. And I had clear goals and mental and physical goals for the tournament, and just treated it like any other. And I did particularly a really good job that third day of being my own best friend. I remember having a really good ease and a good simple kind of process about myself, just like even walking down the fairways. Like, it was a nice day out, and I just soaked it in.
Work in silence.
Yeah, and just enjoying it, and really, like I said, being my own best supporter, being my own best friend through good and bad shots it was important. And that third day is funny enough. The third day of the tournament, my buddy who plays on the football team here at ETSU came out and watched me. And you're allowed caddies for this tournament. I said, well, look, instead of coming out and watching me, how about you just come out and watch me, and then you pushed my bag with me. So we just kind of chit chatted the whole way.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and he's a golfer himself. He's a kicker on the team, and being a kicker on the team is a very routine-oriented sport as well. Funny enough, so being a golfer for him, a little bit being a golfer, and then kind of pushing my bag. It was a great mix, and we just had a great time. I remember that day was just a lot of fun.
Nice.
That's awesome.
It goes to show, like, golf's a huge mental game. Like, people might think it's like, oh, like, your form, whatever, you get it down. Like, no, man. Like, even pro golfers, like, if they're not in it in their head, if it's not there in their head, like, man, it can hurt their game for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's by far the most important part of golf.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You obviously you went back to back in the New Year's Invitational, and now in just last year in 2021, you guys actually won the SoCon Championship with your teammates. Was it kind of a surreal feeling, or were you guys confident you'd be holding that trophy eventually?
I would say for the conference championship of, I guess, last year coming up, it's coming up again this year. It was we were going into it with high expectations. We were coming together as a team well, and like, ideally you don't treat it as anything different. You're still working on yourself as a player, and working on yourself as a teammate, and building your golf game. And we played 3 rounds. I believe that the second round last year was a good round for us. Everyone played pretty well, and we ended up giving ourselves a relatively big margin between first and second place. And in the last day, we took care of it. Yeah, I remember us being very, very confident going into it. Absolutely.
Nice. But was there a little feeling of surreal, like, my God, we did it?
The particular conference that we're in for golf is not a very strong conference. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah.
You're NCAA Div 1, right? But it's just conference. Okay, yeah. So it's I'm just thinking, like, if you're NCAA Div 1, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
No, I understand. Like, I'm with you. And there are conferences that are much as a whole much better than the Southern Conference that we're a part of. So so that was it's a strange one. It really is. In golf, you don't play against your conference. You're not forced to play against your conference. You can if you want to with tournaments that are hosted throughout the country. But it's a strange one for golf. We're typically we're the strongest school in the Southern Conference for golf. Oh, sorry.
That's a big thing, though. That's a very big thing.
To still step up and do it is important, and we're glad that we did. Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice. So how different, like, do you feel when you're golfing alone versus with your teammates, and especially at East Tennessee State? Because I don't know if you were doing it in high school. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Sorry. I don't know, because you were golfing in high school. I don't know if you were on a team in high school. How is it like golfing alone versus with your teammates, especially at East Tennessee State?
It's changed, and I haven't even thought about that much. So it's interesting you asked that. Starting out in high school, I was a part of a high school team. High school sports, or golf in high school, is a fall sport, so it's really only like a couple months. And a lot of other times throughout the year, I am kind of playing alone or practicing alone. And when I'm with the guys here on campus, like I'm with them all the time, and we play together all the time in practice as well. So I actually don't play alone much, like at all, when I'm in Tennessee. When I come back home and I'm here for the summertime and for the wintertime in Florida, I will play a little bit more golf alone. There's some people who I'll play with as well, but that's a very small part of my life, is playing alone. Practicing alone, I'll do in the mornings if nobody's around or in class. And I before I met with you guys, nobody was out here at 5 practicing, but playing is I'm always with the guys.
Wow. Okay, so you're kind of like, like that's your thing, just playing with the guys. And I like that, because when you're in a supportive environment, you're going to be supported. Like you don't feel like you're lacking in that passion right now. And I have a little bit of a difficult question to ask you right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
I don't want to make you contemplate anything bad. I just got it. So I know that you're passionate about golf. I know that this is your life, and you're putting in school, not work at the moment. I'm assuming you're not working at the moment.
On and off, not when I'm on campus, but when I'm at home, I'll work a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So you're still, like you have that, and golf is more of like a full-time thing right now. If golf were not to work out, just in general, would you still want a career that's centered around the sport? Like example, my dad, when he didn't make it, he took him a while, but he ended up going to have a career centered around what he loved doing in sports. Or do you have any other interests? Like, would you want to do something golf related if, let's say, your personal golf career didn't work out? Or would you want to do like, I don't know, like business or, like marketing, anything like that?
Yeah. I would say that if golf were to not work out, it would be a long time after school that I would give it up. I'm going to turn professional and go for a really long time. So for it not to work out would mean that, I would make some money as a professional, but I guess maybe around, I'll be finishing at like 23. So 22, so let's say maybe around 31 or 2, I would try to, I would just say, okay, whether I'm injured or, I know what you mean. I would most likely slowly go away from golf, but still be a part of it. I haven't, disliked the option of maybe being like a college coach. They have an easy life. They have an easy life. So I'm studying journalism in school right now, because after golf, I want to be a sports broadcaster after golf. Ideally in golf.
I do.
So
we could
anything TV related that's not acting or just news, I would be interested in doing after my golf career. So let's say 40 or 50.
Ryerson, my guy. Sports media, Ryerson.
You're not going to go back to Toronto when he's in the States.
Later on.
No.
Did you get to meet Ryan Sir at Ryerson?
Ryan Sir, yeah, I did.
Yeah. He's friends with one of this person.
We're homies. Yeah.
I'm in the summer too. He come to Montreal in the summer. It's on there too. It's a good guy.
Great. But no, that's a good question. I would say I'm studying for there's no broadcasting major at my school, so I picked journalism. But
that's but still it's entry.
Yeah, it's an okay start for what I have, and like I said, I pursue golf. I continue to improve and do it for a while, and once I stop playing, the opportunity, typically what happens, you see it a lot with golf announcers, they're like ex-professionals. So the opportunity there would be, I think, a lot easier to step into. Then.
I think you would be so good at that. You have the charm of an actor, which sucks if you don't want to pursue acting. And it's,
thank you. I've never been told that. Thank you.
Well, no, because I'm an actor, so I'll tell you, like, you have the charm of, like the actors that go on set, they're friends with everybody, everyone loves them. And I think it's great that you still want to be surrounded by that no matter what, because a lot of people have that vision in mind where they're like, I'm going to be a hockey player, and then they don't make it as a hockey player because that's like the only thing, and then their thing to fall back on has nothing to do with something they were passionate about. But it's good that you're keeping your options open in regards to that world that you are so passionate about. So on it, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very quickly, any Masters prediction? Who's winning the Masters?
Tiger Woods. I mean, I hope,
Tiger
but it's not going to
Woods.
happen. I mean,
bank it in.
I would say, I'm not going to say realistically not Tiger Woods, but if it's not Tiger Woods, who I'd pick, players like maybe Xander Schauffele or Patrick Cantlay.
Schauffele, yep.
The Augusta National is a strange golf course in the sense that people who hit the ball, who shape the ball consistently from right to left, have an advantage there. So those are two players that come to mind that can move the ball that direction pretty well. Yeah, even Bryson DeChambeau is a good pick as well.
Nice. So Remi, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am so blessed to have seen you again and just had you on here talking. Like, I know me and Matt just learned a lot more than we ever thought we knew about golf.
Probably all the viewers too. They learned something.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. And I wish you the very best in every single thing that you're doing. Future, tomorrow, in an hour from now,
Thank you, guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate being on, and I'm glad I could make it worthwhile for you guys and the guys watching. I'd love to come back. So just you guys let me know.
For sure.
I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna let you know when.
Yeah.
Hopefully very soon after the Masters.
Yeah. Good luck coming up. We know you got the conference championship coming up late April, and you guys will be looking to run it back. So good luck in that. Hopefully you guys do it. We'll be rooting for you.
Appreciate that. Absolutely.
I had a blast.
Awesome.
Likewise.
All right. So this was episode 2 of the 6-4 podcast, taking you beyond the players. We were beyond Remi Chartier today from East Tennessee State University. Hopefully a pro golfer in the future makings. I see it happening. If not, you'll see Remi on your TV one day. And that'll be the best thing, either golfing or announcing. And I believe in both. So